But
Wow.
no. The curtain has opened and the spotlight is shining on you, Jeff, and it's time for the opening monologue. Yes.
Wow. I'm so glad I came prepared today.
Yeah, it's like that bad dream where you show up, and I have this dream not all the time, but I used to have it a lot. I show up in class. It's a dream. It's a real thing. I wake up sweating, and it's time for the test. And the professor calls on me, and I go, I haven't studied.
I don't got it. I got nothing for
I
you.
don't have it. And he just looks at me and, like, God, you're just, you don't get this. You're
Really?
just, yeah.
That was it?
Yeah.
That was it. Anyway, good morning there. Jeff Jacklich here. Who is that over there? It looks like Brent Abel over there. Welcome to Gold Ball Hunting.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Episode number 80, late 80s.
Yeah, we're creeping up on 100. How cool is that?
It's happened pretty quick, tell you the truth.
It has. Yeah. That's amazing. So what are we doing here? We're offering still, as of this episode, a free, no charge coaching call with Brent and myself, where you're going to bring that one thing and tell us what's bugging you to the point of irritation, that you're actually getting a rash from it. You just you can't figure this thing out.
Look, it can't be your teenage kid, all right? All right, look, we all have problems with the teenage kids. We get that.
Yeah.
We're talking tennis.
Talking tennis.
Yes.
And, what's that thing? Singles, doubles, mixed, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Mental.
And the way you get on that, huh?
Mental. It could be mental. Yeah.
Could be mental. And the way you get on that is you go to goldballhunting.com and you look for the calendar link.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. See, I'm just so messed up.
This is like a bad dream you're having.
It's the pressure.
Right. All right.
Okay, just go to Gold Ball Hunting. There's some buttons and links there. You're gonna pick your time that you want, that's convenient for you. Click on the button.
Oh God.
We're gonna call you. The three of us are gonna get together on this call, and we're gonna have a good time and figure something out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first thing we'll figure out is that when you go to goldballhunting.com, there'll be a dialog box there. First name, email address.
There you go.
Click the button, and then you'll get access. Now, this is an exchange here, right? We want to get you on our email list. We got some good stuff we want to send to you. And so we figure the free 10-minute call, what the heck? That might be a good little fair exchange. We give, you give, and yet I think you're getting the better deal on this. We're just getting a first name and email address. Not going to spam you. Not going to do that. In the words of Dana Carvey, not going to do it.
Not going to do it.
So anyway,
yeah.
Why do I ever think that you should do the intro to these things? Because
I don't know.
Okay. Well, apparently no one else is listening to this.
We're going to get together in a small focus group later and figure that out. Okay. All right.
2-person group.
That's gonna be fun.
Okay. You got anything on your mind today at all, or just kind of rambling?
I used to. Well, we were chatting, and it brought this idea up of you're only one rally ball away. ...
Yeah. Quite a concept. I mean, if you're only one rally ball away, and I would add one more word to that, from ... And I think what it really means is that players do not think enough about the value of allowing their opponent to participate, having a hand in you winning points you winning games, you winning sets, you winning matches. There's too much of this thinking. Well, look, I got to come up with a major league weapon here. I got to
Right.
ding this serve. I got to get that big ass Western forehand. Pardon my language, but I got to get the big full to semi-Western grip going, and I got to start windshield wipering some nastiness over there because I do not want to let the guy touch the ball. Because, gosh, if he touches the ball, then that's not how the game is played.
I might have to hit another one.
Yeah. So what Jeff is bringing up is you're just one rally ball away from actually winning more matches and becoming a way better tennis player. And we really believe in the Craig O'Shaughnessy language phrase of it's serve plus one.
Yeah.
It's return to serve plus one. And Jeff, go ahead and give us the stats on the 0 to 4 rally ball length and what that means if you can actually get to 4.
Right. If you can get to 4, points going to be over anywhere from 60 to 70. In the pros, it's nearing. It hovers around 70%. 0 to 4 hits, rally's over. As you go down a little bit, then that number softens a little bit, where it's in that 60 to 70% range, match by match. In the league tennis and
well, I know
stuff.
in my senior stuff. I mean, I've done some stats on videos.
Yeah, and
72%, 0 to 4 rally length.
And I've charted some ladies 4-0 matches too, and definitely they're all in that ballpark. There's nothing significant about 3 or 4% here or there. They're all in that ballpark. So what that tells you, and the way I then talk to the league players about this, is that you need to own your first 2 shots minimum, right? First your serve, can you locate it, and the high quality first shot. Not a winner, not a dinger, not a this, not a that. I got to make my opponents participate, but can I make them participate at a level that is consistently making them have to produce quality, right? So let me throw these numbers at you too. And these numbers I picked up from Frank Giampolo, great, junior coach. Now he's coached now, hundreds, I think, national juniors as well. He's written the book Tennis Parents Bible. If you're a junior tennis parent right now, or you're a grandparent, you play the nationals, and you're a grandparent, and you've got a grandchild who's in the starting to play tennis and starting to play tournaments, get this book, Tennis Parents Bible. It's phenomenal. Anyway, back to our subject, which is you're only one rally ball away from, right? So there's a lot of discovery that happens when you put that ball back in play, and not just dink it back. We're not talking about bunting the ball around the court, but we're talking about hitting a good quality ball. And what you might discover is your opponent actually starts to get antsy at ball number 4 or ball number 5. And that might be the breaking point for the match, that all of a sudden, like, you're not the one that needs to look for the exit. You can hang there one more ball, just hit one more good quality ball, and all of a sudden their wheels are falling off, and you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything spectacular. You just stayed the course, stayed on script. So these other numbers I'm going to throw at you, this is really interesting, because this is just like a giant gap between the mentality of playing at the league level, club level, and even at the national level. I see this happen quite a bit, and that's this. At the pro level, offense, neutral, and defensive play. The pro level, we're talking about 20% of play is offense,
meaning that they're sort of going for a higher risk shot.
Yes. Okay. Not hitting winners. This is not talking about winners. Just that they're actually, instigating. They're doing it right. 60% in the neutral category, and 20% defense. 20, 60, 20. Right. At the club level, get ready. Offense, neutral, defense. 80%, 15%, 5%. That is unstinking believable. So I got one last thing to say when I made this Post-it note, and that was, can you say unforced error?
Yeah, yeah.
80% offense. That's just unsustainable. It's unrepeatable. It's unsustainable. And it obviously it won't play out into the winner category.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Well, that's interesting because the pros realize that the neutral ball, and that's what we're talking about, is
Right.
the one rally ball away from. And it's tough sometimes to compare whatever it is to the pros, but those are numbers that, if you think about it, the pros at that level are content to stay in the point
Right.
until something major opens up. And as opposed to, well, I'm not content to stay in the point because either fitness is not the foundation of my tennis game, so I need to end the point ASAP, or I perceive that my opponent over there is so good that if I stay in the point, as opposed to
Right.
a nice offensive rally ball into the middle third of the court that doesn't give that player an angle, doesn't give them
Right.
anything to work with. At worst, it's neutral. And
Right.
at best, all of a sudden you get a nice kind of a shorty, fatty, chubby opportunity ball. But the big difference to me with those numbers says that the rest of us rec players, we're not content to stay in the point. We're just
No,
not. And we just start to flirt with lousy geometry to
Yeah.
see if we can get out of the point. And
I think that 80% just speaks volumes to not wanting your opponent to touch the ball. That just screams that.
right.
80% offense. That just screams that the way I win points is by hitting winners.
So how do you, Jeff? How do you coach someone? And this is, I got a pretty good idea what your answer is, but I want the listeners, the viewers, to hear it in your own words, because we do a lot of coaching. We do a lot of private coaching right now, webinar coaching with our students. And how do we, if they're in that 80% going offense because they don't want the opponent to touch the ball, because they don't trust that they can stay in the point, how do you start to help them move from 80 to 70 to 60 to a number where they start to go, oh God, I can actually trust staying in the point.
Right.
Number one, I trust my stroke technique to hit a standard rally ball. We're not talking major league. We're talking standard
rally ball.
whatever accent you want to use.
And you know what? And whatever that is for you, the player, it doesn't matter if you have a consistent slice forehand. If it's possible, it's possible to have that shot, the consistent slice forehand. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of players that actually slide their forehand in the senior game.
Right.
And they're very consistent with it, and they can stay in a point. Right? They can. That's their stand.
Why do you need to go extreme technique on this thing?
Right.
Where
So let's not pigeonhole rally ball as something that has top spin that clears the net by 3.5 feet, that lands 2 feet from the baseline.
That's right.
There's a whole bunch of different ways to skin that cat. So having a consistent rally ball is just simply what ball can you hit off either side that you can hit all day long and make land within 3 to 4 feet of the baseline consistently. What ball is that for you?
And we're not talking that you got to go up the line 6 inches inside.
No.
We're not talking that you got to go short angle roller, that you got to go cross court deep. We're talking right at the guy.
Right. So for me, the first thing I like to do is have the players play sets with constraints, because I think it's very difficult sometimes to get a person on a practice court. I can get out there and rally with anybody and convince them to do something on the practice court within minutes, and they'll see the value in it. But when it comes to playing, when they get out to the practice set again, they are going to crawl back to the warm, fuzzy, got to hit the dinger, because that's what they've trained themselves to do, And so the constraint is, okay, you don't get it to hit a winner today. every ball you get to play today is, up the middle of the court, right at the guy. And you're going to play a whole set that way. And the only way you're going to win points is when he misses.
Or let's say you hit one up the middle, tie the guy up, and he gives you a short little ball.
Right.
Maybe
right.
then you can take some liberties to do something.
Yeah, then you can take some liberties and do that. But they have to see the value in what does a point look like if I'm not the one trying to end it all the time. Right. So for me, I can go all the way back to when I was first as a junior learning how to play serve and volley tennis, and very athletic, blah blah blah. I could do all kinds of things with the ball except hit it in. So the first kind of eye opener was, Jeff, can you just make the first volley? I just want you to make the first volley and hit it up the center of the court, or within that first middle third of the court, hit it up the middle. Don't care where up the middle, hit it up the middle. And so as I did that, all of a sudden I found I was winning sets. And I wasn't hitting a winner. I wasn't doing anything. I was just making my first volley. Right? This is like epiphany. The sky opened up. I mean, a bright light shone down on me. It was amazing. But that's where a player has to experience what does it look like if I do this? And that's I think, one of the breaking points for a lot of players is the fear factor of the unknown and actually playing sets with certain constraints that force them to see the game through a different lens and experience something different and actually see the value in what would happen if I put a ball in play here. Not a dinker, not a bunter, but actually just a good quality ball up the center of the court.
Yeah. Well, it's a desensitizing process. It's changing your mindset from going, I have to control the outcome of this point. I actually have to be the one that wins it outright, as opposed to letting my partner participate in me winning points. And you just simply have to get out there and, just like Jeff said, you've got to set up some practice situations where you have constraints. And that brings up the great book, The Talent Code. Where one of the things, and I go back to soccer, I'm going to reference soccer on this, and I can't remember what the reference in there for this particular element in terms of practicing, improving for tennis was, but soccer was that we have this big, huge soccer field, and they're trying to teach these kids dribbling skills, dribbling the soccer ball, and how to maneuver around somebody. And the way that they taught them was they put them in a room.
Right.
They put them in this little confined space, and this is where they learned how to work this skill, how to work a skill in a very confined, constrained space. And the same thing. And then when they go out in the soccer field, it's like, whoop-de-doo, no big deal. I can do this all day long.
Right.
So it's the same thing in tennis. And what Jeff is saying is that you have to set up constraints in either in your drills or in your practice sets, so that you start to desensitize yourself that, you know what, I can stay in the point. And in fact, it's good for me to stay in the point because I actually win more points, more games, more sets. I'm winning matches. And we're not talking about that fat sitter where, and again, it's not always a guarantee that it's going to be a put away opportunity, because you can't tell your opponent to not guess where you're going to take his fat sitter and hit it. It might be a 2-shot play.
It could be.
It could be. So, well, that's good. Those are just astounding numbers. And it just goes to show that the rest of us want to look for the exit, and some of it is you got to figure out why it is you don't want to stay in the point. What is it you don't trust staying in the point? If it's because you feel like, well, I'm not very fit, okay, that's a controllable. You can absolutely take care of that. If you feel like you have some huge weakness, like, let's say, for example, you've got a backhand that just completely sucks. I don't know what that would be. But
Right.
let's just say it is. And all you want to do is run around backhands and ding forehands so that your opponent doesn't have an opportunity to hit your backhand. Well, come on. It's a controllable. You can get out there and you can shore
Right.
up the backhand so that if they hit it over there, you could play a rally ball. You don't have to end it.
I mean, literally, the only thing you need to do if on a weak side, whatever your weak side is, you just have to be able to achieve one thing on that weak side. Can I get a ball neutral? Can I hit it good enough simply to produce a neutral effect on the other side? I don't need to be able to pass with it. I don't need to be able to do magical drop shots with it. I don't need to do anything with it. But if I can consistently simply, bunt it literally. I mean, we've talked about you don't have to bunt it. We don't want you to bunt certain things. But literally, we're talking, this is like really like narrow. But it's like if you can just bunt it back cross court deep, a neutral ball, you know what? You're probably going to do okay.
Yeah. I mean, so I think sometimes what happens is they think, well, I got this weak backhand, and I got to make sure that it's as good as my forehand, where I think my perception is I think I could hit a winner.
Right.
And you don't have to improve it to that point. I mean, I feel like with my backhand, the only time I roll it, the only time I top it, is when I need to pass someone. And all I'm thinking about there is I just need a little dip. I don't need this to be deep. I just need to get it down a little bit. I'm assuming the guy's going to guess that that's where I'm going, whether it's up the line or at his feet or cross court. I'm assuming he's going to get there. So I'm thinking, now I didn't think that a couple of weeks ago against this one guy. But normally I'm thinking this should be a 2-shot pass, right?
Right.
And but all the other times in my slice backhand, that's my staple rally ball for the backhand.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can hit this thing all day long. Is it an offensive weapon? No, it's not. It's not. Can I hit a drop shot disguised off of it? All day long.
Right.
All day long. So I guess we got a little off topic there.
Yeah, not really. I mean, it's really about, back to the rally ball and the percentages of what are you doing, So my final word on it would be, if you've never had a match of yours charted, get one charted. Have somebody else on the team. Do a little team, in your next team meeting, somebody Google up how to chart a match and chart a match and just get the basics. How many first serve, second serve, return a serve, first and second serve, and length of rally, how many, the 3 categories, 0 to 4 hits. How many rallies did that happen? 5 to 8, and then 9 plus, and chart who won those points. At the end of the set, you're going to look down and go, oh, look, this team won 18 of these points. This team won 4 of those points. Guess why we lost, right? So anyway, get your match charted in those kind of categories, and you're going to be surprised at what you learn, because those are the details that actually can help you improve. It's not necessary as much as you might think. You need to be able to hit the backhand flipper lob off the return. I'm going to say that's probably not it.
Dripping with sarcasm. Beautiful.
Yes.
All right.
It's the rain. It's making me edgy.
Speaking of dripping, right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for hanging out with us today. And, I think Jeff and I really want you to think about rally length. And that if you survive the first 4 shots, and that only means you have to participate in 2 of those. It's not your first 4. It's your first 2. Could be serve in the next shot, could be return in the next shot. If you survive those, the chances go way up you're going to win the match. If that's what you're into, if you want to win more tennis matches, whether it's singles or doubles, then that's where your focus ought to be, the first 2, maybe 3 shots. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. Very good. Jeff, I'm going to throw the mic right back to you, because this is your time, man. This is it. Go for it.
This is it. So we'd like you to like us, share us, please subscribe and let us know what you think down below. Love to hear from you.
And guys, just as a quick reminder before we sign off today, 10-minute free coaching call. It's private. Just three of us, you, me, and Jeff. We have a coaching call, and all we ask you, bring the one thing to your game right now that is kind of a little thorn in the side you cannot quite figure out. Goldballhunting.com, first name, email address, and then click the button and you'll get access to our online calendar scheduler where you get to cherry pick the date and time you want. It's not about us, man. We're totally givers on this thing. Guys, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, let's do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.